Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, and welcome to this webinar on ControlM conversion tool and how it can help you to find and eliminate workflow silos. Just a quick presentation on myself. My name is Flora Tramontano Guerritore. I'm based in Italy. I'm part of the ControlM solution marketing team in BMC. I'm working for BMC since 3 years now, and I have a background experience on the workload automation discipline and tools. Here is the agenda for this webinar. So I'll take you through the ControlM conversion tool value for new and existing customers. And then I'll talk about the self-conversion tool, and I will show you how it enables you to create your own conversion. And then I'll go through live demos for both the conversion tool and the self-conversion tool. So I'd like to start with introducing a situation that our customers often describe to us. This is about their challenges and pains they have when they run a mix of schedulers and workload automation tool. They say they need to code scripting and homemade work to integrate multiple tools or to supply feature gaps. But you know, scripting is error prone and it may produce business interruption and it can slow down the remediation process. I'm going to make an example. Suppose you're running your plan and an error occurs. Okay, so when an error occurs, people belonging to one team can see which activity on which domain has impacted their job. And so they start a big deal of communication and spend a lot of time to investigate and find the root causes of problems. And this situation can result in missing SLA. And missing SLA can produce penalties and can affect competitiveness. So what does this mean for those companies? It means they have a complex, risky, and costly to maintain environment. It means no chances of scalability, flexibility, and agility, no chances for efficiency, business growth, and finally, no chances for the digital transformation. Okay? So if you are in a similar situation, and you'd like to get to a single workflow orchestration, but you are struggling with how to get there, this webinar is for you. Because the rest of the presentation is based on the assumption that you recognize that an end-to-end single workflow orchestration, mainframe to multi-cloud, including a variety of applications, including file transfer and other data sources, is critical for innovation. So if you're struggling to get to this situation, ControlM conversion tool can help you. ControlM has a powerful conversion tool that can automatically convert data from any vendor with minimal effort and risk. If you combine this conversion tool with the expertise of a dedicated ControlM specialist, you will probably have a smooth and safe migration. So typically, companies avoid migration because they believe that the risks don't outweigh the benefit. We know that when talking to our customers. And so organizations tend to maintain the status quo, tend to stick with their problems just to avoid migration effort. And we understand that, because migration can be a major change management project. It can impact mission-critical services, and it also requires high-level approval, budget allocation, special skill, and most importantly, it can put at risk the management of production. Common concerns and fears include fear of complexity and risk for the organization, fears of unpredictability. You don't know how long the migration will take. You don't know how long the downtimes will have. And then concerns about the skill and resources needed to complete a conversion. But ControlM conversion tool helps you minimize those concerns and fears. First of all, complexity and risk may be reduced because the conversion tool takes you through a phased approach. You can break your project into smaller phases that you can better manage, you can better control. And so on each phase, you can have a clear view of what you need to do. And then the phases can be also reviewed and reiterated multiple times. Also, you can further control your migration by splitting data into chunks. So, for example, you can migrate application by application. You can migrate business flow by business flow because the migration tool allows you to go through workload chains and dependencies. Secondly, to reduce uncertainty, you can use reports. Conversion tool produces reports on each migration phase, and these reports can help you forecast the migration duration, can help you to understand the results, and can help you reduce the downtime. Finally, you don't have to worry about having the right skill or resources because you are not alone. Our experts have successfully helped many customers to complete migration projects, and our team can provide support throughout the entire migration project so they can ensure you to meet your objective at every stage. So to summarize on the conversion tool value, the tool removes the risk of errors that may happen in manual conversion. It helps you to automate a significant part of your conversion. Our customers tell us that they have automatically converted up to 80–85% of their conversion. And additionally, organizations that are converting from cron tabs or Microsoft Scheduler can enjoy the automated discovery to find those tools and convert them into ControlM. And last point, but not least, there is value also for existing customers because organizations which are expanding and bringing new workloads can leverage the conversion tool to consolidate scatter schedulers, application, homegrown infrastructure into ControlM. Before going into the live demo, I wanted to take you through the conversion phases. So, first of all, when you open your conversion tool, you have to select your project, and then you go into the analysis phase. In the analysis phase, ControlM analyzes, categorizes, and cites your input data and generates reports that can help you forecast the conversion duration and effort. You can see how many objects you need to convert from your source vendor. Next is the conversion phase. You run the conversion, and ControlM shows you the results with all the details on how much data has been converted successfully and which data may require additional work, manual adjustments. You will get messages in these conversion results that drive you to iterations to refine your conversion until you are satisfied with the results. Next one is the verification phase. So this phase is critical to reducing the downtime associated with your conversion. In this phase, you can compare reports from your old schedules with your new forecast plans, and you can determine which is the best time to complete your migration and to switch to ControlM, minimizing the downtime. Finally, you can load your data into ControlM, and then you get a summary of all your conversion phases. The tool is downloaded because the download website is shown in the ControlM homepage under Other Tools. And then you have just to download the conversion tool zip and save it. And then after extracting the zip file, you have just to double click on the conversion batch file to launch your conversion tool. And there is another note I want to make, and it's about based on our customer feedback. And so approximately every 3 or 4 weeks, we come up with a new version, and that version can be automatically applied to your current installation very easily. Let's go to a demo now. So as you can see, to start the conversion tool, I just click on the conversion batch file. And this is the tool. It's a wizard, as you can see, that takes you through all the conversion phases. So here you can see you're working on a demo project for demo purposes, but you probably want to start a new conversion, so you need to create a new conversion project. You need to select which vendor you're converting from, for example, Autosys, and give a name to your conversion. For example, Autosys test. And then you create your project. So the first step you're required to do is to load the file that you have previously extracted from your source vendor. Okay, so for example, in the Autosys case, you have to load job definition from an XML file that you have obtained by extracting data from Autosys. And the instructions to extract data from your current vendor are shown here. If you want to get more details, you just click on the question mark and you are pointed to the documentation, and here you can see all the commands that you need to issue in order to extract data from Autosys. And the same applies for other vendors. For example, suppose that you want to create TWS conversion. So you click on IBM TWS, you give a name again, and you create your new project. And again, you need to load data, job definition, CPU definition, parameter scheduler, that you have previously extracted by your vendor. And again, in order to see the instruction to extract data from your vendor, you just click here, you go here, and again, you have all the commands to extract data from IBM. Now, for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to use a demo project, which means I'm going to use sample data. They are preloaded. And of course, of tables and object here, okay? But because this is about sample data, and when you will run your conversion projects, you'll probably see thousands or hundreds of thousands elements in here. But I want to focus more on the process than on data, so this is enough for this presentation. So here you can see all the details on the elements, and this, as I said, this assessment reports gives you information on all the objects that you're going to convert. Okay, and you will see that the terminology is expressed in terms of the source vendor, of course, because we are going to convert their object. Next phase is the conversion. So you need to give a name to the conversion result file. And then you are presented with conversion rule, but here you can use standard conversion rules, which means predefined rules inside the conversion tool. Or you can customize conversion rules. For example, if you want to make your conversion in chunks, you can use this general tab to filter on the data that you want to convert from. Okay. For now, we will use standard rules. So we will go next. The conversion runs, and you get conversion results here in form of messages and actions. Messages are divided in information, warning, and error. Information element which is successfully converted, but changes have been made to match the ControlM paradigms. And warnings indicate that the elements have been partially converted. So you may be required to perform additional actions. So in this case, you may want to go back and, for example, define additional rules, and then you can rerun your conversion multiple times until you are satisfied with the results. Next, you will go to the validation phase. Actually, here you can create a validation report for CA Autosys and IBM, TWS, iSelected, and other vendor. But this is to let you know that you can get validation reports that show you a comparison between your old schedule and your new forecasted plans. So, and this can be obtained also here in the verification tools. Okay, so with this verification report, you can select which is the optimal time to switch to ControlM. And then we go next, and now we have an XML file containing all the ControlM elements. So I take this XML file and I go and load into ControlM. I create a new workplace. And then I import the elements here. And again, sorry, let's use this. This is temporary. And again, and so here you can see the data loaded into ControlM with all their details. Okay. Of course, this is just a small network. You probably will get a greater network when you make a real conversion. Okay, so let me finish with the conversion tool. So next is just a summary to summarize the results of each phase. Okay, now I'm going back to the presentation. And I want to talk about the self-conversion tool now. So, sorry. So, as you have seen, the conversion tool offers out-of-the-box conversion rules that you can use to convert from most common schedulers, workload automation products, and applications. And we are constantly adding new solutions and versions. But if your scheduler application homegrown is not in the list of automatically converted vendors, no worries, we can introduce you to the self-conversion tool. So the self-conversion tool allows you to extend the range of covered solution to any type of commercial, open source, or home-grade scheduling and workload automation tool. You can basically create your own scheduling rules because the self-conversion tool is actually a development framework that anyone can use to build their own conversion. There are some prerequisites to satisfy. You need to extract data from the tool to be converted in XML format, and you need to understand the mapping logic, but I will go into more details in the next slide. And then, after satisfying those prerequisites, you can create your conversion rule using graphical or script mode. You can test your rule and then run your conversion and load data into ControlM. So again, 4 major phases. 2 of them are prerequisite. You need to extract source from your scheduling in various format. You need to understand the business logic, the data logic, and then you can build your conversion rule and run your conversion. Let me zoom a little bit on the prerequisite. So first of all, as I said, you need to extract data from your source vendor in an XML format, but that's not the only format because they can be in a JSON format, they can be CVS, they can be an Excel file, because all those tools can be easily converted into, all those formats, sorry, can be easily converted into XML using free web tools. Next is understanding the mapping logic. You need to understand how the object in your source vendor maps to ControlM objects. And once you have done that, you can easily convert XML elements and attributes into ControlM elements. For example, here you will convert the folder XML element to a ControlM folder. You will map the job XML element to a ControlM job, and the name attribute value will be mapped to a job name. But let's see live how this works. So let me launch the self-conversion tool. And here it is. So in the top part of this pane, you can see the elements that you need to populate in order to create a new conversion project. So you need to give it a name. You need to select conversion rules if you have already created some conversion rules. And you need to load input data from your XML file. So by default, the self-conversion tool comes with a sample project, and I will use this one because it contains sample data and rule examples. So this is the data, XML data, that we have extracted from the source vendor, and that must be converted into ControlM elements. At the top here, you can see conversion category. You need to go through when creating your conversion rule. Some conversion rules are mandatory, for example, create folder and folder name, or create job and job name. Additionally, you can define new rules if you want to add some attributes. To build your conversion rule, you can use a graphical mode here, or you can use a script mode. The graphical mode is very easy to use because it requires just a minimal user input, but it creates very straightforward, very simple conversion rule. If you want to create more sophisticated rule, you have to switch to the script mode. But for now, let's stay in the graphical mode, okay? So I want to create a folder for each XML box element. I want to create a folder name for each box name attribute. And then I want to create a job for each XML job element. And I want to create, job is here. And I want to create a job name for each name attribute. And now I'm done with the graphical mode. I mean, I can run test rule syntax. I can test rule syntax. I can also test rule functionality. Let me give a job name here, for example, job 1. And I can test the functionality, and I can also run the conversion. But I want to take you through the script mode. So let me go back to the folder, for example. Let me go to the script mode. So, as I said, if you want to create more sophisticated rules, you have to switch to script mode. In the script mode, you will see conversion rules that are available for you to make additional coding. So those are example rules created by the tool, okay? And in order to code more sophisticated rule, you just need to have some basic knowledge of the Groovy language and an understanding of the ControlM API. And if you don't have this prerequisite, we believe that just 1 hour workshop with our expert is enough for you to get started. And ControlM is at the heart of the conversion project and of the self-conversion project, actually. And actually, there are two categories, two classes of ControlM API. One is the ControlM API to create ControlM objects, for example, ControlM folder here, and ControlM job here, or ControlM workspace. And another category is, another class is the one that helps you to retrieve elements from your XML. So you can make your changes here, and you can make your code in here. I will not do that because this is your task. And then you can save your project if you want to reuse that, make tests as I showed you, and then you can run your conversion. And then what you get here is the ControlM data in an XML format. And so again, I can take this data to my clipboard. I can go to ControlM. I can create a new workspace where I do import my data. And here it is. This is the ControlM data loaded into ControlM, and loaded into ControlM, and that you can see here, it has been converted from the source vendor. So with that, I am done with my presentation. Thank you very much for your interest to listening to this presentation. And